Once upon a time, I decided to stop learning Christianity and theology by myself. So I stopped doing my own homework and I began to look for a church that already did the homework for me. It was too late though. I knew enough about Christianity to be able to identify errors when I found them in the claims of a Christian denomination. The error that I most often came across is their belief in what they believe to be correct. That's orthodoxy. It's the inability to separate beliefs and facts from each other. They're so obsessed with believing in the truth that they don't see the contradiction in that. You don't need to believe in the truth. Claims require you to believe in them. A claim might be true, but you don't know that until the claim has been proven to be true. Then it stops being a claim. When a religion is proven, it stops being a religion. When a bunch of Jehovah's Witnesses showed up at my door once upon a time, for example, I confronted them with Luke chapter 22 verse 36, in which Yahshua instructed his disciples to buy a sword. Jehovah's Witnesses don't vote because they think that Satan runs the government. So why not support gun rights so that you can defend yourself against the government? Boom, that's it. You can now throw your religion in the trash can right next to my door. Guess what one of the Jehovah's Witnesses said in response? He began talking about how in Matthew chapter 26 verse 52, Yahshua instructed Apostle Peter to lay down his sword when he attacked a servant of the priest. So if you support gun rights and you say to someone that it's not justifiable to shoot whenever you want, you have proven by that to not support gun rights? How does that make sense? The Jehovah's Witness totally didn't care about my argument, leave alone how good it was. He only cared to defend his orthodox nonsense. He didn't care about the truth. In his mind, he's following the one true church, and so you never need to question it. You just question others, and when your religion is proven wrong, you just need to figure out a way to prove it right because you believe that it's the truth. The general idea that Christian denominations follow is that the church, which is an organization, knows the truth, but nobody else does. If you don't believe in that truth, you will go to hell forever, but if you do believe in that truth, you will be super special as you will belong now to a super special club. Just give your time, money, and energy to that club. Everything has been made easy for you. You don't need to think about anything. That's what the clergy does for you. You are a layman. Still super special, but not as super special as the clergy. They are a different kind of super special. Outside of the club, other types of Christians may be special at best. Not super special though. Outside of Christianity, there are only false religions and their followers are doomed to go to hell for eternity. That's how the general orthodox mindset works. It's very juvenile. I've never found any Christian denomination that makes enough sense. If a typical Christian offers to help you out with such a quest, you can be sure that they are only interested in converting you to their denomination. They have all kinds of traps to confuse you and persuade you to do that. In case of Catholics, for example, they claim that Yahshua himself founded the Catholic Church. They refer to Yahshua in Matthew chapter 16 verse 18, in which he says to Apostle Peter, "On this rock I will build my ecclesia." Ecclesia is often translated to church, which Catholics claim is the Catholic Church. They claim it's not only the oldest church, it's the first one. If you are new to Christianity, I wouldn't blame you if you fell for this trap. The Orthodox Church split from the Catholic Church, and then Catholics began to protest against the Catholic Church, thus becoming Protestants. What nobody tells you is that Catholicism is not the first Christian denomination. It's not the first church. The people who founded the theology of the Catholic Church and the Orthodox Church are the so-called Church Fathers. There is no direct connection between them and the disciples of Yahshua, who are also called the 12 Apostles. But many churches, including the Catholic Church, Orthodox Church, Oriental Orthodox Church, and so on, claim otherwise. They believe in the so-called apostolic succession, which is the claim that the ministry of a church is derived from an apostle by continuous succession, which happens through bishops. They pretend like this is an absolute fact, but there is no evidence for that. You may see a list of churches that were allegedly founded by an apostle. When you look closer, you will find no evidence for those claims. Take the Georgian Orthodox Church as an example, which you might see listed as being founded or co-founded by Apostle Andrew. The church claims that Apostle Andrew was establishing churches in Georgia, which led to the foundation of the Georgian Orthodox Church. There is no evidence for that. It's the same deal with the Armenian Apostolic Church and the Bulgarian Orthodox Church. It's ridiculous. In case of the Church of Cyprus, which is an Orthodox church, you might see Apostle Barnabas listed as its founder. Some so-called archbishop claimed to have been visited by Apostle Barnabas in his dreams, who was dead for hundreds of years by then. The archbishop was then told where to find the body of the apostle. Allegedly, he found the body afterward, including a copy of the Gospel of Matthew on the body. He took the book to Emperor Nero of the Roman Empire. That was enough to prove that the Church of Cyprus was founded by Apostle Barnabas. Amazing! The earliest of the so-called Church Fathers are the so-called Apostolic Fathers. It is believed by Catholics and Orthodox Christians that they have personally known the 12 apostles, but there is no evidence that any of them did. It's all pretense. Calling them Apostolic Fathers is therefore misleading. Catholics and Orthodox Christians even go as far as claiming that you are disrespectful if you don't go along with it. They especially like to claim that the Bible that you are using has been compiled by the Catholic Church. That's not true in my case. since I accept the Book of Hanoch as canonical. But whatever. In addition, there is not one Bible compilation that is accepted by all denominations. Different Bibles have different books. The same church that compiled the Bible didn't even allow anyone else to read it. It took the Reformation to happen before people finally could read the Bible for themselves. When Christianity arrived in Greece and in the Roman Empire, there was competition. There was already organized religion in those places. They had a god for everything. The authorities were fine with that. It took a lot of effort to replace the current religions with Christianity. All kinds of claims were invented to justify that and to make it appear like Christian leaders had defined legitimacy. Then all kinds of saints, including members of the church that became the Catholic Church, replaced the gods. All kinds of pagan customs were adopted by the church. The authorities eventually embraced Christianity, starting with Emperor Constantine, who is recognized as a saint by Orthodox Christianity and some other Christian denominations. The whole purpose of Catholicism, Orthodox Christianity, Oriental Orthodox Christianity, and so on, is to control what you believe and to have power over you. They claim that Christianity is the only true religion, and then they want you to accept that they have a monopoly on Christianity. After the final prophets, the religion was in the hands of Jews who embraced Yahshua. As it spread to Greece and the Roman Empire, it was eventually hijacked by the Orthodox who used it to control others at a religious, social, and political level. The Pharisees did the same before them, and they clashed with Joshua when he began his spiritual movement. He did not start a social or political movement. The so-called church fathers, apostolic succession, the Pope, and so on, that's not biblical. It's either Catholicism, Orthodox Christianity, both, or some other Christian denomination. It's fine for the theologians of a Christian denomination to state their beliefs in addition to what the Bible says, but it's not fine to pretend that it's a fact. Christianity needs spiritual teachers to help people in their quest for the truth, not dictate to them what the truth is and what they must believe in. Protestants aren't better. They are also Orthodox. They have fought against the Catholic Church and liberated themselves from this organization, but they have then largely only reformed Catholicism into what is now known as Protestantism. There is no need to reform any of the nonsense. Just get rid of all the nonsense. That's what I'm doing here. There's so much misinformation spread about Christianity. It's important to keep in mind the churches had a lot of power in the past. They owned land, controlled or worked with governments, executed their opponents, and so on. They were almost the only literate people around. Even the current Bibles that are often in use are translated in favor of a specific church dogma. Even if you manage to see how much fake history exists in favor of these old churches, it will still not be enough for the followers to open their eyes. They will swap facts for beliefs, which they see as facts anyways, and claim that the Bible is also based on beliefs, so they stick to their fake history. They aren't able to distinguish between facts and beliefs, leave alone one set of beliefs from another set of beliefs. Christianity is a belief system. Every Christian denomination is a belief system that is based on top of Christianity. I believe in Christianity, but I don't believe in Catholicism or Orthodox Christianity. There are good reasons to believe in Christianity. Just look at the prophecies, history, theology, and so on. There are no good reasons to believe in Catholicism or Orthodox Christianity. Both are Orthodox, which is enough for me, but if it wasn't, there is also the fake history, fake claims, bizarre beliefs, and so on. You cannot be spiritual and Orthodox. To be spiritual is to directly come to God without anyone standing in between you and God, like a church. Your behavior proves the correctness of your approach. That's orthopraxy. As Joshua has stated the Orthoprax Creed in Matthew chapter 7 verse 16, by the fruits you will know them. The Catholic Church killed people if they had beliefs that weren't Catholic. They burned some of them alive. Those are some of their fruits. When Apostle Peter confessed to Yahshua that he believes that Yahshua is the Messiah and the Son of God, he became a Christian temple. The word for Peter, Petros, means a small stone. The idea in 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 5 is that the ecclesia will be built by living stones. You don't need to look for the one true church as advertised by the Orthodox. Convert to Christianity and you will be the one true church.